We're going to wait for some people to show up.
Hello.
Hello.
We're still waiting.
Still waiting.
Yeah. There we go.
There we go. Seb Chiaramello joined. And now we've got some people coming in. Hey guys, welcome to the Instagram after party. We've got a really special treat today because we're going to look at some of Michael Turner's original artwork. We've got a bunch of cool spreads from the Fathom comics, and it's just blowing my mind right now. So we're going to just make sure people get a chance to get in. Cool. So we are here with Frank again.
How's it going?
Thank you so much for joining us on Instagram or on Sideshow Live, and now on the after party.
Yeah, it was great to be here. It was a lot of fun. It was really cool to be able to show the fans the new statue and talk about it, and hopefully give them some insight into the creation of it and everything. It was great.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun.
So what are we looking at right here?
This is the biggest audience we've ever had in live for
I was gonna say there's people watching over my shoulder. That's exciting.
Yeah.
You know it's good when internally we're excited.
Yeah.
So what are we looking at right here?
Okay, so this is pretty cool, and this truthfully has never seen the light of day outside the studio. This is Michael Turner's original sketchbook from 21 years ago, which basically chronicles the creation of the Fathom property. So it's pretty amazing when you look through. I mean, he basically, it was called Two Bros. Obviously that wasn't the name of the thing, but that's how he started off with, because Mike, what a lot of people might not know, his brother Jake, they were really close, and he was creating this book sort of with them in mind as kind of the stars and whatnot, things like that. He always wanted to include his family. That's why Jakku and Ecos was named after Jake, and Grace and Soulfire is named after his mom, and things like that. So he always tried to include his family and friends. And so this is just really cool because it's all Mike's original notes from him creating Fathom and coming up with the storyline ideas before he ever drew a single piece of art for it. And then what's awesome, which here, first time ever, you guys, this is the very first attempt he ever did at drawing Aspen years and years ago. We've never even published this. This is the first time I've ever shown it. And then this is sort of her evolution, and this is what it became. And you can even see the necklace was a little different. He had different markings on it and whatnot, a different design. So this was all just him brainstorming, doing all his different designs and creating the suits and creating, here's Cannon Hawk from the Aspen series. Here's Akiko, some dude, who I just called Dude. Here's Chance, which was one of the characters in the book.
We've got some people in the chat who are very, very excited to be seeing this.
Yeah.
Someone said it's like archaeology and seeing history here.
Definitely 21 years old. Here's the very first Killian, and Killian, he was a little more alienish looking. He had really broad shoulders, really sleek look to him and everything. Mike obviously made him a little more classic looking when he actually wound up drawing it, but a lot of this stuff was just Mike, coming up with all his ideas, coming up with plot lines, coming up with what he wanted to do with the storyline. And then it's cool as we get going, there's more layouts. I didn't mark them all. Her with the dolphins, which became a poster. This is how Mike, for people that know, because a lot of people would always ask me, they're like, hey, does Mike have any layouts of all this stuff? Well, this is how Mike did all of his layouts throughout his entire career. He would do them this size in all these different art books, in all these different sketchbooks. This one is all Fathom, like I said. I have basically about 20 more of these or so, which are, one's all Soulfire, one's all Marvel, one's all DC, all the different properties that Mike has worked on over the years. But here's the layout for the Fathom #1 cover, which is really cool. No one's ever seen that. That's the one with all the bubbles and everything going through it. Different structure design. So this is how Mike, for all you artists out there, this is how Mike would structure all of his drawings. He would come in here and do a really quick thumbnail, because Mike, even though I know a lot of artists today use their Cintiqs, use light boxes in order to achieve the look that they want on their pages, but Mike, he was a little more old school. Obviously 20 years ago, he would do his layout here as a thumbnail, and then instead of copying it and blowing it up, he would then just redraw it full size on the boards, because he really liked, and this is Mike, of course, but he really liked having just the organic flow of being able to do the lines again himself, whereas sometimes you might have to tweak something or change it. Whereas when you lightbox something and then just use it from the photocopy, you're kind of stuck to those lines and it's a little difficult to change. So Mike would always like to just redraw it, and it never took him too much time. So that was a thing, because Mike always drew all his pieces 3 times. He would do a quick layout, he he would go in there, rough out all the designs for it, and then he would erase it with a kneaded eraser, one of those gray little erasers, and then he would basically sharpen up his pencil and go in there and just start cranking away on all the artwork. So
Wow.
everybody always marvels at Michael's art because it was so clean. Here's the cover to the 0 issue layout, which we've never showed before.
JJ Jogram says, I imagine this book is rarely touched, like
Yeah, in fact,
preserved.
this is the first time I've actually had it out since we moved a couple years ago.
Wow.
I have all these stored because I want to make sure they all stay in good condition. Here's the other layout for issue number 1, the one with all the dolphins. So it's just really cool just to see how Mike, he would make all these notes and all his layouts with all the page designs and everything, and
Wow.
just to make sure that he didn't miss anything. It's awesome because you see his whole thought process for how he wanted to create the books and create the world of Fathom.
We have a
So.
comment saying, why aren't you wearing white gloves while you're talking?
My hands are still clean, and thankfully, I've handled Mike's art for ever. So
Wow. And so that then becomes it became these incredible volumes.
Yeah, so obviously here's all the different Fathom books. We're up to, like I said, volume 5 now, volume 6 just finished up, so that'll be in trade paperback early next year. But these are all the different volumes. Of course, we have tons of different spin-offs, and Kiani became a hugely popular character for us, so there's tons of different Kiani trade paperbacks and things like that. But these are just the main Fathom volumes, which for those of you that are interested in the statue but don't know who this character is, because that's one thing I've seen so much of on the message boards, and oh my gosh, I've never been added to so many different statue forums in my life. Like everybody's adding me to all these different statue forums. And I'm reading all the comments, and thank you to everybody, because all the fans are just loving this, and even people that are trying to nitpick something, they still come back and say no matter what, it's unbelievable and amazing, and I'm so appreciative of that because that just shows the hard work that went into this statue. But if you don't know who the character is, you can definitely check out the Fathom Definitive Edition. This is the one that's all Michael Turner's work. We included, it's 525 pages of every single thing Michael did for Fathom Volume 1, and then obviously the storyline continues in all the other subsequent volumes. Like I said, we just finished volume number 6.
Wow.
Next year, during the anniversary, the new volume will come out in June. We'll have all the trades available, all the different books. So, yeah, if you want to know what the character is about, this is the book you'd pick up. But back to the artwork, so after Mike would do layouts, so this is the full-size pages, and this is the complete done page by Michael Turner, who then gave it to Joe Weems at the time, and Weems was the one who would go in and just ink all this incredible, intricate detail. And I used to see Joe Weems on occasion inking some like stuff, and his face would be about an inch from the paper because he was trying to get just the most minute little details in there. And that's just what made the Fathom property and the Fathom book itself just stand head and shoulders above all the other books at the time. When it came out in the summer of 1998, it was the #1 selling book of the year, sold to over 250,000 copies. Obviously, there was alternate covers and different things like that, but still, to sell that many copies at the time was just amazing. And we're just proud, 20 years later, that the book is still being published, and a lot of people still really love it. So these are all the original pages. This is all of Fathom 1 in its entirety. This I've also kept in the vault. I have sold Mike's original art personally for 15 plus years now, but this stuff has never been for sale or ever been available. This is all just the original pages from issue #1 complete.
Look at this. This panel is insane with all that inking detail.
Yeah, I mean, just Mike and Joe going in there and doing the detail. I mean, every single little bit of water there was drawn and inked.
Yeah, we got some people in the chat saying, never sell this.
Well, my plan, so people know, is once I do eventually get the Fathom movie going, I've been working on that for a very long time, but I know for sure one day it'll be made, and you'll be able to sit in a theater and watch this as a feature film. And basically, I want to do a huge Michael Turner art exhibit tour. My plan is to keep this in its entirety. I have Soulfire #1, all its in entirety, plus a few other really choice pieces from Mike's career. And so I want to do a huge exhibit across the country and hopefully around the world. I know a lot of different art exhibitors, so hopefully we can do a giant Michael Turner art exhibit tour so people can come by and check all this stuff out. That is my goal, and that will happen someday. So yeah, this is all of Fathom number 1 in its entirety. That
Oh, holy smokes.
a lot of people always asked, you know, if Mike used a lot of photo reference or things like that, and I can honestly say for all the characters, everything he drew in regards to Aspen, Cannonhawk, and all those guys was just stuff he made up. I mean, those are all characters that came from Mike's mind, and Mike he's, you know, one of those elite few that what he pictured in his head, he could transfer through his arm onto the paper and create on a blank piece of blank board and make it look as amazing as this. Obviously with different ships, and if you had to reference something exact, if he's drawn, you know, a stealth fighter or something, he would obviously, you know, look at a picture or something, but he would never copy it. He would just, you know, do his own little tweak to it and just give it that Turner flair that so many people just came to love and appreciate over the years.
And so you showed me earlier there was like a trading card
Yeah.
image. I saw Ernie the Seahorse getting so much love in the chats today.
Yeah, so this was from the Fathom trading card set that we did almost 20 years ago as well, back at Top Cow, and this was the Ernie trading card, and so Mike drew Ernie little bitty right at the bottom corner of the card, and then Peter went in and did all this seaweed and all this cool background to it and kind of hid Ernie, because if you guys didn't join us on the Sideshow live event, we explained that Ernie was a little Easter egg that Mike used to hide in every single Fathom comic book. So if you have any of the original issues, you could look through those and try to find Ernie in there. And he's in there. You just got to look for him. But Mike wanted to do the same type of thing for the trading card, so he made Ernie really small, and then Peter went in and did the rest. That way, you don't see him directly on the trading card. You just kind of got to look for him.
Very cool. Very cool. And so we've got a ton of, I'm trying to see if I can get as much of the table in as possible. So we've just got so much stuff. And the statue is over here now too.
Yep, so a lot of these pieces, this piece Mike drew when he got diagnosed with cancer, and this was Aspen on crutches, and basically just signified that even though he was down for the count for a little bit, he wasn't out. It was just sort of a break. He drew this for an article that was in Wizard magazine at the time that explained what he was going through and a lot of different challenges that he had ahead of him with the cancer.
Reading that.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. But so that's a piece he did for that before coming back, and then these pieces are a few of the newer ones. This was a swimsuit piece that Mike did with Aspen, Kiani, and Grace from Soulfire. That was in one of our swimsuit issues that we did years ago. A lot of people just really like that one.
Aspen's in the chat now
Yeah.
too.
Nice.
Hi Aspen Comics.
What's up, guys? This piece was the piece that Mike did when we very first started Aspen Comics.
Whoa.
And it represents basically the 3 worlds that Mike created. So you got the Fathom universe with all the different characters, and the black, which were the ancestors of the blue that came up from below. You have all of the Soulfire characters, and then you have Ecos, which I know showing this now, a lot of people are gonna be like, do Ecos! And believe me, we love that property with all our hearts. It's just that Mike created that with Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns is a very busy guy these days, and unfortunately, I just don't know if Ecos will ever see the light of day, but that's okay, because that could be one of those projects that had so much potential and was so cool, but just never came to be. So this was just cool though, because that was created almost 15 years ago when we very first started the company, and just showcases all the different characters that Mike created.
Wow.
And then I brought this piece because I thought people would love to see that, because that was the first time Aspen ever donned her famous armor. And that piece obviously has been used as a ton of reference points for different artists over the years, and we made it into a giant poster, and people love that piece, and that's the original art for it. Mike and Joe Weems just did an incredible job.
Wow. I love the ink. just the look of the ink on the paper is incredible.
Yeah, when you just look up close at it, it's incredible the amount of detail that those guys were able to put into that.
Wow. Alrighty, so I think I'll see if I can get some of this art in the shot with the statue there. Thank you so much for bringing all of this to the show. This is incredible, and the chat is absolutely just eating this up. So.
Yeah, no, I thought
very cool.
I thought it'd be cool to show people. A lot of it, like I said, hasn't been seen before or has been rarely showcased or seen, especially Mike's original sketchbook. So I thought people would get a kick out of it to check it out and just see the way Mike's thought process worked for the way he created Fathom.
Very cool. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Alrighty, thank you guys for joining us for this very special Instagram after party. And don't forget to join us next week for Sideshow Live, where we'll be talking about Black Friday. And don't forget to let your geek side show. Thank you.
Bye.